You're listening to Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance, Protecting Texas Churches. The show that gives pastors and church leaders the clarity they need to protect their people, property, and ministry.
Welcome back to Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance, Protecting Texas Churches. I'm your host, Ron Wadley with Insurance for Texans. We help church leaders to protect their people and property with wisdom and clarity. If you're a church in Texas right now, there's a good chance you're shopping for insurance, whether you want to or not. Lucy hadn't planned on it. She serves as an administrator for a church in Tyler, and like a lot of churches, they opened the mail and found a non-renewal notice waiting on them. That alone was stressful enough. But what really caught her off guard came next. She called an insurance agent for help, and suddenly she was being asked for everything. Details about the building, details about ministries, volunteer activities, past claims, background checks, vehicles, youth events. Lucy felt overwhelmed and honestly a little suspicious. Her church had operated for years without major issues. They'd always had insurance. No one had ever asked this many questions before, and the agent on the phone couldn't clearly explain why any of it mattered. With a deadline looming and frustration building, Lucy did what a lot of church leaders end up doing. She called us at Insurance for Texans and asked a simple question: why is this so hard now? The short answer is this: church insurance in Texas has changed. Severe weather claims, rising rebuilding costs, and carriers leaving the state have completely reshaped the market. Insurance companies aren't guessing anymore. They're tightening underwriting, scrutinizing risk, and demanding better information before they commit their capital. That means the days of vague applications and surface-level questions are gone. And this is where the role of your church insurance agent really matters. A good church insurance agent isn't just trying to sell a policy. Their job is to translate your church to an underwriter. They are responsible for telling your story accurately, completely, and in a way that positions your church as a well-managed risk. And that requires details. When an agent asks about buildings, ministries, vehicles, counseling services, schools, coffee shops, or volunteer activities, they're not prying. They're identifying exposure because every one of those things changes how coverage should be structured. Lucy's church, for example, had off-site retreats, overnight youth events, and volunteers working with kids. Those things matter, not because they're dangerous, but because if something goes wrong and the policy doesn't match reality, coverage can fall apart fast. Accuracy matters even more than speed. Underwriters price policies based on the information they're given. If that information is incomplete or inaccurate, you can end up with exclusions you didn't expect, limits that don't hold up, or claims that get denied when you need them most. That's not a premium problem. That's a process problem. Lucy also learned something important. Insurance policies give coverage, but exclusions take it away. And exclusions often show up because details were skipped or misunderstood during underwriting. Once she understood that, her mindset shifted, providing loss runs, policy copies, volunteer information, background check procedures, and ministry details wasn't busy work. It was how we made sure her church didn't end up underinsured or exposed. This is exactly why we created our True Texas Church Insurance Program. It's a process built around asking better questions up front so churches don't pay for it later, financially or reputationally. Yes, it takes more effort on the front end. Yes, it requires gathering information. But it's the only way to secure coverage that actually fits how a church operates today. Lucy realized we weren't making things harder. We were making them safer. If your church is frustrated by how many questions an agent is asking right now, don't tune out, lean in. The details are what protect your ministry when something goes wrong. And if you want help navigating this process with someone who understands Texas churches, connect with our church insurance team at insurancefortexans.com. And if you want a clearer picture of church insurance in general, get a copy of our book, The Promise of Certainty, at thepromiseofcertainty.com. I'm Ron Wadley, and this has been Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance, Protecting Texas Churches. Until next time, Remember, we ask the tough questions so that your church is protected well for what matters the most.
Thanks for listening to Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance. Until next time, remember, insurance isn't just about policies. It's about safeguarding the mission God has called you to lead.